Hey, konbanwa, good evening. This is Gray from Wakazashi's Tea House over in Japan. How you doing? Are you genki? Are you good? Can you hear me? I hope so. Just cracked open a beer in a celebration of tonight's stream. This is not a late night. It's 8 p.m. Japan time stream for me. Check this out. This is a new one. It's a limited edition premium malts diamond hop. So looking good. Does it taste like diamonds? I don't know. I've never tried a diamond. And thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for watching the intro. I hope you like that. I was working on that last week, and I wanted to try and drop in some of the movies that I've loved over the years and still love. Not that many. I missed a few favourites as well. No Blade Runner. Subverted your expectations with that. And yeah, had to drop the Matrix in there though. Ginger Ninja, great to see you, mate. 12 movies. That's great. If you could get 12, you can name them. Nice one. I'm only joking about the postcard. That's me being stupid. Low Spec, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Metropolis, 1927. Do you know, speaking about that, I saw a clip of a recolored, remastered 4K version of the crazy female kind of robot dance scene in there, which is it's on YouTube for free to watch. It's amazing. It's so good how they've restored it. They've put colour on, the black and white, of course, and sharpened it all up. I tell you, the faces of the people, like the normal people watching this dance, they're so, what's the word? So strange, so weird, almost like otherworldly. Yeah, I recommend that. Check it out. So, also, it's nice to see Tehilim29 was in the chat before. I hope you're good. I hope you're enjoying your comics, mate. You got a good haul this weekend. Glad to hear you picked some up. I hope you didn't buy Robin, Tim Drake, issue 1. No, I'm joking. I've heard very, shall we say, interesting things about that. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, that is surreal. You're right. Where are we? Okay, so today I want to talk about Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It's a recently new web series on Netflix. It dropped based on the Cyberpunk. What is it? There was a role-playing game. I need to check my history for this because I'm totally clueless about this. I had no idea there was a tabletop game of it before the video game, which was famously released a couple of years ago. Full of bugs, is that right? Especially for the console versions. The PC versions were supposed to be pretty good, but I think the PlayStation, maybe the Xbox ones were ripped full of bugs. But anyway, so let me give you a quick lowdown from Wikipedia. Kind of just read Cyberpunk Edgerunners in, it's got it written in Japanese, in the katakana, how to say it. Are you ready? This is how you pronounce it. Take a breath. Ginger Ninja is going to be checking me with this. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. There we go, that's it. It's a 2022 Polish-Japanese cyberpunk web anime series based on the video game Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red. The series was animated by Studio Trigger under the supervision of CD Projekt, and it premiered on Netflix in September this year. Set in the cyberpunk universe created by Mike Pondsmith. Great name. The anime serves as a prequel to the game and takes place about a year before the events of Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, now I have to point out I'm a total noob to this. Apart from loving the cyberpunk genre, going back to, of course, Blade Runner, one of my favourite movies of all time, and William Gibson's Neuromancer, as well as his Sprawl trilogy, his Bridge trilogy. I've read most of his books and pretty much loved them all. Ghost in the Shell, Akira, then later on The Matrix. So yeah, big fan of the genre. So this is released, as I say, I haven't played the game, but it's based on the game. Now, upon its release, Cyberpunk Edgerunners received highly positive reviews, with praise directed at its characters, its animation, and the world building. But I have to point out, I've been checking different review sites, looking at proper anime review sites, also movie review sites, and mostly positive, yeah, but there are some kind of average to lower scores for it. Some people saying it's a little bit flat, the story's not really there, only 10 episodes, maybe it wasn't enough time to fully, develop this world. But for me, it's a recommend. I enjoyed it. Okay, let's get back to stream, see who's here. Wow, looking good. Hey, Nay, how are you, mate? Good to see you. How many movies could you name in that intro? You'll have to rewatch it later to see. To hear him saying he's no interest in that Tim Drake Robin book. Yeah, mate, I've heard it's a bit of a nightmare. It's really weird art style by an artist, a very individual artist called Riley Rossimo, and it's written by, I don't even know her name, there's a lady, female writer for DC Comics who's apparently just no idea what she's writing about. It's Tim Drake, but it looks like the year one version of Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Anyway, I don't want to get too distracted on that. And Ginger Ninja is shouting out a nice comic you can get on Indiegogo. Yeah, mate, drop the title in the chat. Drop the title, because there are many very nice comics you can get on Indiegogo. I have ordered from there before. I'm still waiting for a few. You know the ones I mean, don't you? And yeah, tell him pick up the Chuck Dixon run instead. That was a great run on Robin, Tim Drake Robin. Okay, Low Spec, you're saying don't forget the music. Yeah, in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. So good. It's got a mix of, what do you call it, like popular songs, like vocal songs, and also, electronic music. Gorgeous soundtrack. I don't know if they used tracks from the game, because the game has got an amazing soundtrack. My good YouTube buddy Nosferatu the Vampire, he was recommending it, and he sent me a couple of playlists of the Cyberpunk game tracks and some mixes people have done. So good. I was listening to one yesterday, went out on a cycle down to the sea, had this like weird kind of cyberpunk music playing on my headphones, looking out at, at nature. You got this really weird mix of the natural and the the unnatural, or the technological. It was very good. But hey, how you doing, man? Edgerunner is a great anime and pretty self-contained too. Angry Canadian, great to see you. Yes, I would say so. I've got a confession to make. You probably know if you've seen my channel, I'm more into comics and kind of movie TV than I am anime, even though I'm in Japan. I know, crazy, right? But so I am, not the world's like most well-versed anime watcher, but I really enjoyed this. Now, I've got to point out, it got off to a bit of a slow start. I got through episode 1 and I dropped it for a bit. I didn't carry on, and then I came back to it because I'd heard this is really good, you've got to stick with it, and it gets better, and it gets better as it goes on. The world building is really good. The building the world is fantastic. The animation is mostly amazing. Sometimes it looks a little bit like, okay, maybe cutting corners, but good style. And music, as you said, the music's great. And what I'm enjoying now is that the characters are coming to life. The characters are being well developed. And yeah, anyway, I'm blathering on. Let me see if I can share some of the photos. Prepared it. Okay, it's working this time. Yeah, StreamYard. Sometimes it decides not to work when you've got it all set up beforehand. Here we go. So this is basically the opening shot. You get a kind of, what's the word here? Kaleidoscopic view of Night City from above. This is a city where Cyberpunk Edgerunners is set. Yeah, very big like Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell vibes from that. Yeah, Franz Ferdinand as well, Ginger Ninja. Yeah, they used that for the title. In the title, the opening titles. Was it This Fire? Is that a song by them? Yeah, This Fire. It's pretty good. But I say in the actual series, there's a nice mix of vocals and electronic music. It's cool. So yeah, look at this. What do you reckon to that? Nice opening shot. It got the typical Netflix content warning for, what was it? Language, violence, nudity, and strobing effects. There we go. So I'm up for all of those. Now, this is an example of some of the maybe more simple parts of the animation. You can see here, it opens with a police shootout. Now, a bit of a simple scene, but nice use of light and shadow. I like the way they've done that, highlighting parts of the gun with it going off, lines on his face, that kind of thing. It's these little moments of detail or attention to detail. Look at this is weird. Now, basically, they try to show what happens when you get jacked up with cybernetic implants and you can move so fast that normal people can't see you. You kind of go into Matrix levels, or the agents from Matrix, that kind of level of movement. So they depict it by this weird, what's the word? How would you say it? A sequence of moments for movement, like the way the guy moves, and they change the colours slightly, but if you look at it overall, it is pretty simple, isn't it? It's a simplistic scene. But of course, it looks so much better in motion. Now, you know how strict YouTube is these days, and especially with anime, if it's anything new, they'll just kill you, they'll hit you. I'm not that bothered about getting copyright strikes or claims, but I've heard friends like streams has been taken down for showing trailers, of new content. But anyway, and then we get a little bit of a view of the outside world. You see the main character, who's called David Martinez. He's taking a train or whatever it is, I don't know. And it's really, what's this word? This to me looks like a little bit of an old-fashioned game screen. Like a world-building game, or, wow, I'll have to check the chat, but can you see what I'm saying? It's a bit weird. It's not looking like Blade Runner at all here. It's looking colourful, a little bit bright, of course a bit beaten up. You've got realistic-looking commercials, advertising boards in the background. I like the mix of English and Japanese here on the hotel sign. It's H-O, ho, and then teru, hotel, looking cool. Just show one more. Okay, and this is a scene of what happens when the Edgerunner, the cyberpunk enhanced person, transhuman, when they activate their kind of cybernetic power before they go into this crazy speed, high speed mode. It's great. This looks more like CG, doesn't it? Computer graphics than animation. Okay, let me get back to you guys in the stream. Here we go. Low Spec, you're saying that Akira Yamaoka did music for Silent Hill games. Yeah, I've heard about him. I didn't know the name. You dropped it in the chat and I had a quick look. So he's a game music creator, yeah? You recommend him? Psychedelic trails, Low Spec, exactly. I've heard that a lot with reviews. It's some of the scenes are very psychedelic, very out there, very bizarre and almost surreal at times. And Nene's backing up what I said about YouTube. YouTube's gone full paranoid. Do you know, recently they had a kind of update. Apparently they had this great big meeting, whatever you call it, global meeting or something of not Netflix, of YouTube, and many hidden decisions were made, but basically they're sort of really pushing shorts now. They're going for the TikTok style audience, and regular content creators who just make videos, maybe they're being not as publicized or not as pushed as they used to be. I've heard that live streaming's still kind of getting a bit of a push, but their big focus is on shorts. 2D looking Ginger Ninja, yes. Yes, it's a bit like an old-fashioned game, like those Sim City kind of, what do you call them, the city building simulators. It gave me kind of vibes from there. And Angry Canadian, I'm curious if anyone else got some Ghost in the Shell vibes from Edgerunner. Yes, yeah, definitely. Ginger Ninja's on the 5th episode. Haven't seen Ghost in the Shell for a while, so can't honestly say. I think Ghost in the Shell is darker. It goes more, for more of a Blade Runner vibe. Even Akira. This can be bright and, as you said, psychedelic, very colourful at times, but it's violent, it's gory. And okay, Low Spec, Akira Yamaoka did original score for Edgerunners. Okay, cool, mate. You posted a pic on their Twitter post. Thank you. Thanks for that. That's cool. Yeah. So, what exactly is an Edgerunner? I had to look this up and I found it on a thread in Reddit because I don't play the game. This is what somebody's put. So here we go. You ready for this? It's a great definition. Basically, Edgerunner is a term for a group of people that skirt the edge of legality, thus their name. So like, they're living on the edge. They're the fixers, the netrunners, the solos or mercs that carry out the shadier, less public business in the cyberpunk world. Their reasons for doing so are as varied as the Edgerunners themselves. So you got the good guys, insofar as there are good guys, like Morgan Blackhand, great name. Now I think this is from either the video game or the tabletop, who fight against corporate tyranny. You also have psychos like Smasher, who don't care who they work for or why, just as long as they get to do nasty shit. There we go. That's cool. Nice little description. The premise is, it's a dystopia, of course. Dystopia, overrun by corruption, crime, cybernetic implants, and a very impulsive but talented street kid named David Martinez basically has a terrible event happen to him, which I'm not going to spoil, then makes the choice to survive on the wrong side of the law as an Edgerunner, a high-tech black market mercenary, also known as a cyberpunk. There we go. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the brief highlights of the reception it got. So I don't hold much credence with Rotten Tomatoes or any of that. Mostly I look at IMDb, and just go for the user scores, or Metacritic. Metacritic can be quite good. Go for user scores on there. But basically, Rotten Tomatoes like 8.8 out of 10. They're saying you boot up Night City with frenetic action or inspiring visual flair. Edgerunners is an exceptionally stylish anime adaptation of the world Cyberpunk, the game, established. Jonathan Wilson from Ready Steady Cut, don't know that, but it's a great name, said that in many ways this is the cyberpunk story that the cyberpunk game wanted to tell and couldn't. There we go. Any fans of the game out in the chat? Let me know. As I say, I haven't played it. Matt Kim of IGN praised the exploration of the hostile life in Night City, specifically the visual effects, noting more of the focus was on the city rather than on some of the characters, calling it a wild ride, but worth every blistering second. There we go. Let's change the scene. Start showing. And where are we? One more. In a review for Polygon, Campbell, nice name, praised the visual language for various in-game concepts, as well as the sonic diversity in its score. Found the show's best aspect was its ability to depict the psychological unmooring of its characters without feeling inauthentic. Stop sharing. I thought I was sharing the photo, but was I sharing that? Wikipedia. Never mind. So yeah, let's have a look. Oh, hey! Nick McCabe, how you doing, mate? Great to see you. I hope you're good. Nay. Yes, I am on the old Twitter. I am, yeah. I mainly use it to promote, stuff on this channel and my WordPress blog, where I do, believe it or not, I write reviews of books and comics. Can you believe it? With words and stuff. Crazy, right? Old-fashioned, binary. Ginger Ninja says it would be a very interesting series if it was called Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It certainly would, yeah. No way. That sounds pretty cool. Let's see if I can share some more photos. Is that still working? There we go. Yeah, so here's the main character. This is David Martinez. Pretty cool design. He starts off a little bit quiet. And of course, it takes time to build up the characters in these series, but I'm liking where he is now, and there's quite a change from, where am I? I'm on episode 8, so I haven't finished it yet. And I've heard it's a very bit of a shocking ending, but anyway, no spoilers, don't worry. But I like his development, but there's been a weird change, maybe halfway through. I'll tell you what though, episode 6, can't remember the names off the top of my head, but episode 6 was just stunning. Wow. Again, no spoilers, but it really tries to show, and I think shows very well, something I think it's called cyber psychosis, which is basically the human body, is organic. It's not meant to, have these cybernetic implants. So it's a kind of form of rejection, I guess, where your mind can't take it. Maybe your body's trying to reject this tech, and it leads to what's called, a cyber psychosis, where you can just lose your mind basically and go on a psycho-like killing spree. Yeah, I like the way that's shown in it, and I've heard they talk about that in the game it's done, and also in the tabletop game. Nay. Sonic diverse. These days, anything that's non-WASP American is labelled diverse. Diverse is in different styles, Diverse used to have a different meaning. It's being used these days for a certain meaning. We're all getting a bit tired of that, aren't we? But yeah, there is a diverse soundtrack, because you hear like Franz Ferdinand pop style, and you also hear electronic music, techno, heavy dance, bit of drum and bass, but also a ballad will drop in. It's like, no way. And guys and ladies and gentlemen, ladies as well, if you're out there, that's another thing that threw me from the first episode. There was they they were playing music over some of the emotional scenes. Sure, that's normal, but some of the scenes where the characters were talking. Now, I have it on in Japanese, and I try to use Japanese subtitles, for my Japanese learning ability, which is crap. But when I get a bit stuck, I'll put on English subtitles. So I'm listening to Japanese talk. I've got this English music playing, and I'm trying to read English subtitles. And at times it was a bit distracting, but that could just be me. I'm sounding like my old dad used to be. I can't hear them for the bloody music. That's what he was like. Oh, dear John. God rest his soul. So yeah, maybe that's me just being old. But it did get better. I really noticed it in the first 2 episodes where, it's like, wow, they really are going for it with the music. Dropping it during the conversations. Anyway, digressing yet again. Wakizashi's going on a waffle. So another character here. This is, wow. The problem is now, if I go and try and check the characters' names, I'm gonna share that screen instead, aren't I? I don't know why it does that, StreamYards. Anyway, let me know in the chat. I think this is it Lucy? Something like that. She's a really cool character. She is Cyberpunk, of course. She has this kind of grift going on where it reminds me of, what was it, Altered Carbon. Have you seen that series, Altered Carbon, where you have something put in the back of your neck? So you can take people's kind of chips out of the back of their neck. I'm not sure what it is. It's not like the whole consciousness, not like Altered Carbon, sorry. No, not that extreme, but she's a robber. She can steal those from people. And she tries to steal David's, and he catches her. That's how they meet. Anyway. Yeah, but I like her character development too. She's been getting more and more interesting. She's not like the typical Mary Sue, the girl who's the key to everything. She's the best at everything. She's very good because she's been doing it longer than him. David's the guy who's got to learn how to be an Edgerunner, how to be a cyberpunk, and they do show that well. They even show some training scenes in one of the episodes. That was good, and it's got a good sense of humour. It's got the typical off the wall Japanese style anime slice of humours in there, but also it's a mix of Western because it was co-developed by a Polish team. So yeah, interesting, eh? Okay, where are we? Let's have a look. And we've got Logspec saying, okay, you watch the dub, but you usually prefer subtitles. Well, I've heard that the dub's good as well. They use really good voice actors, of course. But with me being in Japan, I always try and put it in Japanese. I'm not a big fan of dubs. What I have heard on that note is my good buddy Nosferatu really recommends the original anime Cowboy Bebop English dub. People have said that's even better than the Japanese original, if you can believe that. He really rates it, so I've not seen the English dub, I've only got the Japanese version of that. Ginger Ninja saying, yeah, same here. I want to watch it subbed. Dubbed always sounds rushed to keep up with Japanese. Yeah, I get that. It's like watching the old anime cartoons back in the UK, where they were trying to match the the English to the characters' mouth movements. And old style Japanese animation, they're known for lots of exposition, like characters explaining lots of things. So you've got this really long vocal scenes where people are talking about what's going on, and they're trying to match the mouth movements, which was impossible. Right, I want to watch it again, sub for the Nippon Go. Yeah, do it, mate. Do it. No way! Speak of the devil and summon him up. Here he is. Nosferatu. Did someone say Cowboy Bebop? Yes, I was saying, mate, you're a big fan of it, of course. I love the series, not the Netflix series, the proper anime series. And you were saying that the English dub is fantastic for Cowboy Bebop, which I've never heard. Something I'm going to invest in. I want to get the Blu-ray eventually. Well, I know you're here for the Edgerunners, really, aren't you? Okay, so here we have the two main characters again. You got David, and again, guys, correct me in the chat. I'm not going to check on Wiki. I think it's Lucy. Lovely background there. This is more like Blade Runner style background, isn't it? So the night scenes are kind of dark. You got this lovely many shades of blue, dark blues and purples. Minimal use of lighting. Okay, and another scene I wanted to point out. This happens quite often in the series, and I think this is taken from the game, if I'm right. They show these calls going on, and you get it this is you're hearing it in Japanese, yeah, because I've got a Japanese version on, but they put it up in English. It's really cool. So it's interesting to try and compare how it translates. It's pretty close. So yeah, I wonder what it sounds like with the English dub. That'd be interesting. Do they read it word for word? This is what happens when the characters call each other. So you get their conversations, and you see it usually from one character's perspective. But I like that. Desperate looks ugly, says Maine. M-A-I-N-E. Maine. He's one of my favourite characters. And yeah, I was talking about one of the episodes later on, episode 6. His part in that is just, wow, stunning. It really got me, that. Wow, fantastic episode. Again, no spoilers, but look forward to that if you haven't seen it yet. A younger character here. She's really cool. She's a weird, young... I think she's a sister of one of the characters. And, no nonsense. Total badass. Drinking beer. I think she's trying to go out with David, or trying to, go on a date with him, but he's not having it. But yeah, pretty cool. Okay, let's get back to you. Into the chat. Speaking of Nosferatu, says Ginger Ninja, did you see that Eggers is going to do a version of Nosferatu? Totally saw that, mate, and totally got excited by it. Love the Northman. That was one of the movies, by the way, a very brief and a little bit of a surreal clip I dropped in my intro. What about his take on The Lighthouse, Willem Dafoe, and Batman, Robert Pattinson? What a film that was. Again, that was a recommendation from Nosferatu. He's like, Gray, for God's sake, will you watch it already? I've still got to do a review of that as well. The one thing I'm so happy about with this show is how they depicted Adam Smasher, says Nosferatu. Okay, mate, is that from the game? Yeah. Okay. The guy with the bending limbs is her brother, right? Yes, I think so, Ginger Ninja. Yeah, that's it. Yes, Ginger, he's been rumoured to make it for years. Of all the directors, yeah, okay, yeah, so yeah. Can you believe it? I mean, the original Nosferatu is amazing, isn't it? The silent movie. So famous for the German actor whose name was Max Schreck. And it translates, I think Shrek translates as fear in German, if that's true. I don't know if that's a myth or not. What a distinctive looking face he had. Sam McCabe's in the chat. How you doing? Sam and Nick. Has anyone actually seen them both at the same time? That's what I want to know. On a stream at the same time? No, I'm joking. They are twins, and good to see you. Raise a glass to everybody, because don't forget it's evening here. I'm sorry it's morning in America. I know it's a bit early for a beer. It's not quite past the yard arm. Nene's talking about that. Okay, Skarsgård will play the vampire. Really? That sounds like a great choice. Yeah, excellent. The white-haired woman is Lucy. Okay, thanks, Nick. Nice one. Do you remember the name of this girl, the young girl? Tell you what, I'll stop sharing briefly and then I can check it. Here we go. Character names. Look at Gray with his preparation. It's unbelievable. So we have David Martinez and Lucy. Yeah, the two mains. Maine is this huge, jacked up guy, like soldier, mercenary. He's really good. Great story that what happens to him. He's got a girlfriend called Dorio, who I wasn't sure. Is it a guy or a woman? Apart from this, she seems to have boobs, which you can kind of almost see. But she's muki muki, as you say in Japanese. Like, she's built up, she's jacked. Kiwi. Okay, that's not the one, that's another one. She is a veteran netrunner who's often cold and stoic, a member of Maine's crew. Kiwi's often portrayed in the nude in a birthday suit, but the way they do it is kind of artistically cleverly done, because they've got cybernetic implants, so you'll see it when you watch it. It's not gratuitous, it's not over the top, but you do see things. Just saying. Where are we? This is it, Rebecca, how could I forget? The young girl is Rebecca. She is Pillar's young sister. Okay, a trigger-happy Edgerunner, and she's a member of Maine's crew. She's awesome. The scenes with her just going crazy with these huge guns. It's funny. They often seem to do that, don't they? In especially in Japanese anime, they'll have a young girl, a younger character who's just a total nutcase. Brilliant. There's Faraday, who is a fixer who works for Militech. Military tech. He has a business relationship with Maine's crew, often hires them to conduct jobs that usually involve them performing corporate espionage against Arasaka. There we go. Okay, I don't want to spoil anything, so... Yeah, they're the main ones, yeah. And there's a doctor, a Ripper Doc, a local Ripper Doc who helps upgrade and install David's cybernetic implants. Awesome. Not too early for a beer? Nene, where you are, that's good to hear. Yeah, it's afternoon, is it, for you? Nosferatu, okay, thanks for the info, mate. Adam Smasher is from the original tabletop game as well. Okay, cool. He's basically known as the second baddest merc of all time, with Morgan Blackhand being the best. Oh, mate, don't you just love these names? How cool are they? Rebecca is the weird little girl. Yeah, thanks, Nick. That's cool. Let's get back to the photos I've got to share again. Here we go. See if we can get some on. Yeah, she's very, like, bonkers, bizarre, typical Japanese, cute but dangerous anime character. You can tell I'm totally new to anime, can't you? Hey Dempsey, great to see you, mate. Good morning to you in the States. Sorry I missed your Halloween 3 stream. No worries, that was great fun today. Earlier today, my time, I did a stream with Nerdporial, the golden god himself, Nerdporial Lifeform. We did a review of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, one of the most bizarre movies, I think, ever made. It's so weird. It's such a change to the franchise. You know, it's not as typical. It's not the Michael Myers slasher style. It's a different story completely, with more of a focus on magic and sorcery. Stonehenge comes into it, and like child sacrifice and stuff, pagan gods. Crazy movie. And it's got one of the greatest John Carpenter style leading men ever, with a great moustache. He looks a bit like Chuck Norris. He plays a doctor, a medical doctor, who just basically abandons his job and goes like on a PI, private eye detective investigation with the first victim's young daughter. It's crazy. You can't make this shit up, man. Recommend it if you fancy a bonkers movie. It's totally off the wall, though. I'm not saying, it's great. I'm just saying it's bizarrely funny. Yes, everybody, hit the like button. That'd be great. Great to see you. And I'm so surprised we've got so many people here today. That's awesome. I know it's an early time for the States, but it's a good time for Europe, the UK, where pretty much nobody watches me. It's crazy, right? From the UK, come from my British accent. No, my UK audience is like one of the lowest ones. It's beaten easily by India, Indonesia, Taiwan, Korea, Japan. What's going on there? Gray's going on a Wakizashi waffle again. Nosferatu says that Rebecca, the character, grew on him. She was pretty badass. Yeah, she was a bit over the top to begin with, but I liked her, yeah. I've not finished it yet, mate. I know you finished it. I'm on episode 8. So I like the way all the characters are developing, and I keep going back to Maine. Maine, what happened to him? It's amazing. What a great episode 6 is. Hail Dempsey, hail Noz. Nene's got Easter Brew, 6.8% from the fridge. Yum, yum. Sounds good to me. I'm jealous. I'm limited in Japan, as you know, as Ginger Ninja will well know. But this is a nice Diamond Hop Premium Malts limited edition. Look at that. It's not bad, actually. It's close to a kind of fruity lager, mix of a lager and an ale. Yeah, it's good. My bladder woke me up. I see good old Gray cyberpunking it up. Nosferatu. Oh, mate, that's awesome. For that, I'll have to drop a clip if I can. I want to see if I can share a clip. I don't have any clips from Cyberpunk. I'm sorry. You'll have to watch the trailer or watch the series, because I don't want to get killed by YouTube. But let me see if I can find a brief clip which I used in the introduction. Here we go. Let's see. Just bear with me 1 second. Movie show intro, making sure the clips. Here we go. Short clips from movies. No, I don't have it. Oh no, never mind. That's too bad. How about this one oh no, it's not there. It's gone, oh my god. Okay, let's get back to videos. Yeah, I made a mistake of moving my clips around and I kind of lost half of them. Okay, This is not from Cyberpunk Edgerunners, but just for a bit of a joke and a laugh. How long are we into this stream? It's about 30 minutes. I'll share this with you. And don't worry, I cut it before it gets a bit too risque. Whew, ladies and gentlemen, are you okay? Cool down, cool down. That is a very brief clip from an old, classic, unbelievably dirty, lewd, horny as hell, crazy, hentai, ecchi, whatever you want to say, animated movie called, it's got the weirdest name in the world and I can't pronounce it, Urutsudoki, Legend of the Overfiend. Something like that, right? Unbelievable movie. I saw that when I was about, how old was I? I think I was working at HMV in Manchester, and I saw a review of it in, I think, Starburst. That's an old UK sci-fi magazine. I think it's still going. It's a bit like the American Starlog. And it got a huge recommendation for Lovecraftian horror in an anime. So I was like, wow, I'm going to get that. Big fan of Lovecraftian horror, even though, he's not the greatest writer in the world. His ideas were awesome, but that's a story for another stream. Urutsudoki or Doji, Legend of the Overfiend. Yes, it does have Lovecraftian style horror, amazing like gore scenes, but it's one of the perviest animes I've ever seen. And what makes it even funnier is I had the UK version, which I had no idea had been cut to ribbons, censored like crazy. But even with all the cuts, it was still like, for a poor young teenage grey, taking a shaky baby step into a whole new world of tentacle porn, hentai porn and all that. Oh my god. I've said too many porn words. Watch out for the porn bots going to raid the chat. Okay, anyway, I'm going to go back to this stream now. Sorry about that. Let me get rid of it. So where were we? Let's get back to the photos. As I say, this is not going to be a long stream. Don't worry, I've given my thoughts mainly already on the fantastic Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Look at this. Let's check that showing. Yeah. Okay, this is a scene of the crew, part of the crew. That's Main, front and centre. Look at him, looking brilliant. And you can see they're in trouble there. They've got guns pointed at them by, I don't know, some gang, some crazy cyberjacked gang. Who's next? There we go. There's another great shot of the team. So from the left, you've got Main's girlfriend. I wasn't sure boy or girl, but yeah, of course she's a girl. Main. Then you've got Lucy and David. Then this crazy guy with the long spidery arms. Is he the Doc? I'm not sure. I can't remember his name, but he's cool. I got reminders of the old Miyazaki Ghibli movies. He likes to do this kind of spider-legged people or figures, especially in Spirited Away. Then you've got Rebecca, the young girl, and then the one on the right, oh god, I forgot the name, but yeah, she's the one that you can see a lot often. She's like in this ice bath. She's jacked into the net, jacked into cyberspace, and you see her in the nude quite often. But yeah, look at this, just an example of some of the visuals. So again, it's kind of a simple style, but I love the use of the kind of blurry backgrounds, the lights. You've got these drops of blood, in highlighted. Really cool. Another one here. You can see, look closely at David there. David, he's been kicked by Main to get out of the way of that incoming missile rocket. But look closely at his hands, his arms. You've got this, what would you call it? Again, I don't know the word. It's like a weird effect where it's layers of images. Beautiful. If you know, please educate me in the chat. And there she is, young Rebecca, the crazy younger sister, going, look at her, she's full on crazy kill mode. Studio Trigger, the animation house behind this, I think they were behind one of my other favourite limited series, which is called Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill. If you ever get a chance to check that out, check it out, it's fantastic. I think it's Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill or Kill la Kill. And one more image. Again, look at this, a close-up. So the blood is blurry in the front, in the foreground. You've got David in the background, spattered in blood and pointing the guns, coming right at you out of the screen. The main background is blurry. It looks like a scene from the game there, doesn't it? The actual background scene. What do you think? Okay, let's get back to the chat, see if anyone's still here. Here we go. Nay, what the hell was that? How did the little girl's outfit crack like that? I know, right? It just because the teacher who was like French kissing her, was actually a demon in disguise and she has magical powers and she just broke that. What was it? Leotard off her. No problem. Dempsey's asking, what did you think of Princess Mononoke? Oh, it's great. Really good. Big fan of that. Weird and dark at times. Great animation. Nosferatu, almost everything Ghibli does is good, Dempsey. Yes, a big fan. I'm a big fan of, as I say, the English title Spirited Away is awesome. Totoro is so bonkers, so cute, so Japanese. It's not often for Western audiences' tastes. It's a bit weird, but like the little details it shows, the inaka, the country life in there is great. What else? Howl's Moving Castle. Big fan of that. I've actually read the book by, I think, Diane Wynne Jones, and I think the anime is better than the book. There you go. What else did they do that was really cool? I'm forgetting some major ones. Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind. That's a good one. It's got a very strong ecological message in that. And the more recent ones, I'm kind of blanking on. Low spec. Ningen Isu, The Colour Out of Space. Lovecraftian. Mate, have you seen the Nicolas Cage version, the recent one, adaptation? I think it was Richard Stanley did that? Great movie. Nosferatu, talking about this show, Edgerunners. The animation in this show is so damn good. Trigger really went above and beyond. It's weird, Nosferatu. I think it is, but I've seen like supposedly professional anime reviews, and they're most are positive, but some were like slating it. Some were saying this is too lazy, it's not detailed enough, they've cut corners, it looks cheap. And I was like, really? What have you been watching? Like, maybe they're just having a kind of dig at Netflix because it's Netflix produced show. I don't know. The guy with the long arms is Rebecca's brother. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Is he the one who like gets the cybernetic equipment for David on the black market? Trailing. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, maybe it is. It is. It leaves trails, doesn't it? Like colour trails, almost like when you're allegedly when you're chemically challenged, shall we say, and you see these kind of weird colour trails or almost what do you call it? Auras, but multiple auras. So cool. Trails. Nice one. Nosferatu, they lay in those ice baths so their hardware doesn't overheat. They will literally burst into flames when they enter the net. I tell you what, mate, your little description of the cyber psychosis to me before was awesome. I love the way that's portrayed. It opens with that, doesn't it? The opening episode, you see someone going cyber crazy, and then I won't say no spoilers, but it, you know it's going to happen to some of the characters. I'm not saying who, not saying when. So that's why they have the ice bath. Okay, so they're in to cool them down. And then Ginger Ninja is asking, have any of you ever read the Red Rising saga? They deal with those splicing techniques as well. I've heard of it, mate. I haven't read it. Is it good? Do you recommend it? And Sam McCabe is recommending Howl's Moving Castle, the book. Okay, it was pretty good. It's more for younger, isn't it? For children, well, not children, but younger adults, as you say. I don't know. I think maybe because I'd seen the movie first, but I prefer the anime. I know it's an adaptation. It's got the Ghibli style. It's not a direct adaptation of the book, but I didn't like how that book ended, Sam. I thought it was a weird ending. Kiki's Delivery Service is a great one, Ginger Ninja. Yeah, great Ghibli movie. Didn't they do one of the earliest Lupin ones, which was called something like The Castle of Cagliostro? Is that right? I must rewatch that, by the way. That's an early one. I think that's a Ghibli one. What about the Porco Rosso, the pig who flies like a World War I style biplane? Porco Rosso, that's another crazy one. Brilliant. Low Spec saying the scenes with the tram are nostalgic of old anime. Ah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Nosferatu, yeah, backing that up, they absolutely nailed it with the cyber psychosis. I agree, mate. I mean, well, I don't know it, but I can imagine what it is, and the way they don't over-explain it, but you get what's going on. It's so well portrayed. It's so well done. I enjoyed it, Ginger Ninja. Good. And last comment, I've caught up. I've actually caught up for once. They're saying, don't forget Ponyo. How can you forget Ponyo? Sakana noko. I've just got the Japanese song in my head now. Oh my god. And Dempsey's saying, I'm a... Is it Tite or Taiti? Taiti Kubo fan. Ooh. Nice one. How we doing? One more shot. Look at this. Again, I love this blurred background, and you see these shuttles taking off. It brought back memories of the film Gattaca. If you've seen that, you're seeing the shuttles taking off the whole time, and there's Lucy in the foreground. And is that the last one? Let me just check. Yeah, that's it. That's just one of the scenes I use for my background. Okay, let's get back. Ooh, look at that. We've got a weird kind of double background effect going on. Stop sharing. There we go. Okay, mate, thanks. TD Kubo did Bleach. Ah, yeah, I know it. I know Bleach, but I haven't watched it. As I say, I'm a total noob. Anime noob. What can you do? Swapping out all their organic body parts. Yeah, gradually drives them insane. Too much gear makes them bonkers. Well, that's it, isn't it? I know, not so much the series, but the game and the tabletop game, I guess. It's asking these deep questions about, transhumanism. Will it work? Will the body accept it, or will it reject this hardware? This tech being put into your body. It gives me thoughts of Ian M. Banks's Culture series of novels. He was quite into the culture. They were cool. The idea was they did that kind of thing. They what's the word? Enhanced themselves. Yeah, with tech. Oh, you love Gattaca, one of your top 10 movies. It's a great movie, isn't it? It's a great movie. It's always worth a watch that every few years. Yeah, really good. Good film. Good to hear. How are we doing? Okay, we've been going on for 48 minutes. That's pretty good. As I say, I'm just going to do... I was planning on just doing an hour tonight, so it's been brilliant having you watching and chatting in the chat. Thanks for the comments. I'm not finishing just yet. I'm just thinking I want to cover a couple of the reviews before I finish. I want to share this site with you. There's a site quite like it. For me, it's quite new. It's a movie review site, and it's called Letterboxd. Letterboxd. Do you know it? Let's see if I can find it. A couple of reviews of Cyberpunk Edgerunners that I want to share. There we go. There's the title. Yeah, Letterboxd with no E. So here we go. Some of the user reviews of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Now, this one caught my eye by a user called Rosie. She says, this animated game adaptation series was a sensory overload experience with constant neon colours glaring, music blaring, and blood gushing with extreme sexual imagery. Extreme? I don't know about that, but yeah, there is sexual imagery in it. David is a high school street kid who gets hold of a super advanced military tech. He becomes an edgerunner, a mercenary outlaw, to survive the harsh street of a cyberware augmented, obsessed dystopia. This was a fast-paced 10-episode series, and the runtime's about 25 minutes each. Every episode was densely packed. They had strong story arcs. It's smartly constructed, expanding on the existing world with familiarity for people who have played the game, Cyberpunk 2077. Even for people who haven't played it, like me, like Gray, it will make sense. The English dubbed was not so well adapted, she says. The Japanese version was better, except it was hard to follow when it's on hyperdrive. Yeah, when so much is happening at once. Glad to see... Okay, I'm going to... there's no spoilers there, but I'll skip ahead. Okay. Again, I've checked these before, guys, so there's no spoilers, but one more review by someone called Krzysztof Zabor. Great name. Maybe Polish? Not sure. Sounds European. Grade A thermonuclear face melter Gibsonian utopia on angel dust. Trigger's usual hyperkinetic animation style placed in the perfect environment with neon, blood, guts, sweat, metal and chrome splattered all over your eyes and brain cells. Tell you what, mate, that's pretty awesome writing, I've got to say, for a review. The storytelling, the visual design, characters, pacing, music, action scenes are all exceptional. But what really grabbed me is how much it captures the hopelessness and fatalist nihilism of its universe. Live, fight, rip, kill, die, but does it matter? The city will move on, nothing's going to change. The system cannot be beaten. What remains is our dreams to escape. Last flickering light of humanity under the machinery. Getting Matrix vibes here as well. That's a great review. Awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to share those two. Where are we? Let's just catch up. Mm-hmm. Oh, then now is a great time for you to start. Bleach. Okay. Thanks, Dempsey. Thanks for the rec. They stopped doing Bleach about 10 years ago and the new season is due to drop October 11th. Okay. Normally, a 10-year hiatus would kill a show. Did it take 10 years? Wow, that's crazy. I'm going to be a burp, so just let me mute. There we go. Low Spec says that Shadowrun universe is similar. Yeah, I've heard about that. I think my older brother, who is a big tabletop, gamer, like role-playing game, proper role-playing gamer, I think he was a fan of that. I've definitely had friends who've talked about Shadowrun. I hadn't realised that the Cyberpunk was a tabletop game first. I think the first version was released in. Could be wrong here. This is from my memory from checking Wikipedia before. I think it was 1998, the first version. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't know it was that old. It's released about 3 or 4 versions. Yeah. And the creator, by the way, was he's been involved with this development of this series supposedly. But probably the games as well, since 2012. That's good to hear. Okay, no, only read The Bridge by Banks. They're too long. Yeah, the sci-fi ones are. I think skip his first one, which is called Consider Phlebas, or Plebus. Check out The Player of Games. That's not too thick. It's maybe the second book in the series. And it works as a standalone. Oh, God, that was a really good... I thought it was a good book, but this is years ago, yeah. I'm talking years ago, so maybe if I reread it now, maybe it wouldn't hold up. But I know there are a lot of Banks fans out there. Gray, you're going to love the last 2 episodes of Edgerunners, says Nosferatu. I can't wait, mate. I say I'm not quite finished 8, so I've got 8 to finish and then 9 and 10. Dempsey saying that Halle Berry is great in Gattaca. Truly a well-made movie. I forgot she was in it. I know Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke were in that. Did they get together during that movie, or were they already married? I can't remember. And Nosferatu again, this anime has single-handedly saved the game. Even I've picked it up, and while it's technically flawed, it's fantastic just wandering the city. I'm so jealous, mate. I wish my PC was more high spec. I can't afford these, ridiculously expensive graphics cards. I'd love to play it on the PC. We'll have to see. Nosferatu, I don't know if it's right or not. I've heard rumours that it's... originally, they said it wasn't recommended for PS4. They said just don't get it. It's too buggy. Get the PS5 version if you can, if you have one. Okay, no worries, Dempsey. You're thinking different movie, yeah. Yeah, Uma Thurman's in Gattaca and Ethan Hawke, and I can't remember who else, but it's a really good film. Yeah, Nosferatu, the developers of the game are Polish. That's why the showrunners are... Right. It's the same team that did Witcher 3, isn't it? Is that right? Is that Projekt Red? CD Projekt Red? Are you thinking Gothica? Hey, man, I remember that, Dempsey. I remember that. That's a good movie to watch for the Halloween season. Thanks, Nosferatu. 1988, the first version. Yeah, awesome. And Nosferatu is echoing what Low Spec was saying, that Shadowrun is fantastic cyberpunk. I missed out on that. I guess I think Low Spec said before there are game versions too. Yeah, PC versions. I'll have to look out for them. I still want to play Blade Runner. Nosferatu was recommending it, saying it's amazing, grade. You're gonna get the chills. You're gonna be in tears almost. It's so good. It's a bit old, the PC one. It's on Steam now, but it's still Blade Runner universe, it puts you in the role of a Blade Runner, like investigating. You can do the Voight-Comp test. You can check the photos, dive deep into the photo. How cool! And Low Spec is saying that I like Shadowrun Returns and Shadowrun Dragonfall, the PC games. Okay, thanks, man. I'll try and I'll check those. I'll make a note of those on the. Not the Hong Kong one. Okay, that didn't grab you. So yeah, great. A new universe to explore. Shadowrun. Okay, so this is going back to Cyberpunk the game. Nosferatu is saying it was completely broken on PS4, but they've updated it. Yeah, I heard they took it out of sale, didn't they? They took it off because it was riddled with bugs. Released it too early. Now it's stable. It's better to play on the 5. Okay. PC games are cheap. I like the sound of that, Low Spec. Cheap. A cheap guy over here. Turn-based combat. Okay. I think they probably would. Will run on my PC. Thanks, yeah. That's good to hear. Okay, and one last thing before we finish. Here we go. One more thing to share. Did you know that Dark Horse, the comic book company, they've done a few Cyberpunk 2077 comic books or adaptations? So I think original stories, yeah? Just check that's showing. Is that okay? Yeah. So this is the first one. The trade paperback is called Trauma Team. It was written by Cullen Bunn, he's a pretty good writer. The artist is Miguel Valderrama. Great name. I think I've heard the name, but I want to show you some of the art. Check this out for the preview and make it bigger. I like this style here. Look, what do you think? Cool. Kind of painty, a little bit of a painted style. Nice style, stylistic as well. Let's get a bit further in. Look at this. Look at that sheep. Look at that sheep. Meh. Look at that ship. Like a medvac or something. I get vibes of Mega City 1 too from Judge Dredd in 2000 AD. What do you think? Sometimes it feels like a job. Sometimes it feels like something more. Great stuff. I haven't read it, but it looks good. I'm tempted now because I've got into the series. And yeah, I'm tempted by the game. I'll have to settle with watching the game trailer or see if I can find game streams on YouTube. I'm sure there are hundreds or thousands of it. Cyberpunk. We're pinned down. Sorry, it's a job now, that's all. And I'd like to get back to work. Looking good. What do you think? Looking good, yeah? Worth checking out. Maybe. I think they've done a few now. There's like 3 or 4 different Cyberpunk-based series limited to, I think, the 4 or 5 issue limited runs. There we go. Okay, stop sharing. Right. Awesome. Oh, it's perfectly almost at an hour. So before we finish, let me just catch up with the last few comments. Geeks and Gamers just made a video about Cyberpunk. Okay, is that the game or the series? Probably both, because it's, as Nosferatu was saying, it's got hugely popular again because of the series. And Dempsey saying I may have to take your recommendation here. Check it out. Dempsey, what's good about it? It's only 10 episodes. It's not the usual 20, 24, whatever it is. So you can, like Nosferatu, you can binge it in a day or a night. Trauma Team is such a cool concept. State-of-the-art, militarized super paramedics, says Nosferatu. And Dempsey, Nos, you just described every cleric I've ever played in D&D almost perfectly. Awesome. Great moment to finish up. So, okay, before we finish, because this is great, this is Wakazashi's Tea House. I know I like to finish on a bit of a weirdness, a bit of a weird vibe, a weird clip. Let's have one of my favourite clips from With Nail and I. Here we go. The poor old drunk pub owner gets hit by his cash register. Here we go. See if you can catch it.
Thought I was going for a minute. No man's put me down yet. You had any training in the martial arts?
Oh, I thought I was going for a moment. No man's put me down yet. Have you had any training in the martial arts? Okay, thanks guys. Wakazashi's Tea House. Please subscribe.